Hello, amazing people. It has been a very long time since I've posted on YouTube, and this is going to be a very different setup of a episode, but I just wanted to start out and catch up with you guys because so much has happened. This is just the intro to this video, and after the intro is going to be actually a podcast episode that will be released. Will actually already be released when this comes out, because I'm going to try and record my podcast episodes and put them out as a video format a few days after my regular podcast comes out on like the regular podcast platform. So I just wanted to come on here first and give you guys a little catch up because I look so different than the last time I posted a video. And I posted a video December, or I wanted to and I never did, of 2020, but I know that I didn't post anything after chemo or after my official remission. So much has happened. Obviously, as you can see, my hair is growing a lot. It's sort of bedhead right now and just dirty, but yep, this is my hair. It is. What else can I tell you guys? I'm a senior now in college. Super senior technically. It's my 5th year in college. I got engaged. That's the biggest news. Let's see if you guys can see the ring. That's my ring. I got engaged last August 16th, and I'm currently planning our wedding. Our wedding's gonna be next August, the 21st, and I'll take you guys along the journey of like the planning and stuff. I already have a lot done, but I'm gonna try and make like a wedding tips video and like money saving tips, because we have a very small budget for this wedding and we've been keeping it pretty good, and I'm surprised we actually stayed within this budget because it's so hard when planning a wedding. But that's one thing. I am a year cancer free. It was December 17th that I was a year in remission, so that's very, very exciting. And then also on top of that, I started a podcast, so that's still very exciting. But I've been sort of in a rut lately and I'm trying to get out of it, so I'm trying to keep myself very productive with school because I'm taking a lot of hard classes and I want to keep on top of my studies and my work. So I want to set a better schedule on the days that I have off of classes to like retype my notes and review my PowerPoints, but also record podcast episodes and have guests on my podcast, and then also make new YouTube videos for you guys. So I just want to get back into the groove of all of that because it's been very hard this past year for me. Just 2021 in general was a very hard year, so I'm doing my best to do my best, really. And I hope you guys are doing very, very well. But recording this podcast is gonna look a little different. Not me, but just like the lighting and stuff, because it is gonna be in the evening time, most likely. Yeah, most likely. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the podcast episode. Go over to wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google, I think it's called Google Podcasts, I'm not really sure, Spotify. Subscribe, leave a review and rating. It helps so much. But the podcast is called Life As You Thought You Knew It. Hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, talk to you later. Hello, amazing people, and welcome back to the Life As You Thought You Knew It podcast. I hope you're all doing very, very well. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different for a few reasons. I'm recording here, obviously, on Anchor like I always do, but I'm also recording this on my camera for my YouTube channel, and I kind of look yellow in the camera, so I'm really sorry about that for everyone watching on YouTube. But this is for a few reasons. One, I'm so sorry that I've been so absent. The last time I posted a podcast was the first week of Christmas, or the first week of December, excuse me. So that's kind of crazy. Really sorry about that. And the last time I posted on YouTube was a little bit over a year ago. So again, sorry about that. But I did give YouTube a little spiel, a little update on life, and I guess what's happened in the past 2 months for people who don't know, here on the podcast. For one, I'm almost done wedding planning. To my senior semester, my like last semester, full semester at least, of undergrad has started, and it's been a lot. But I had Christmas. It was great with the family, with both families, my fiance's family and my family. New Year's was also great. Got to see my brother, which is always great when family comes to visit. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I do have to take 2 summer classes, so that's pretty much why I said it's technically my full last semester. But yeah, I think that's it. That is it. It has been so long since I've had a camera in front of me, so I'm trying to get used to this. But today's episode is actually going to be different than what I've talked about before, but I figured that since this is called the Life As You Thought You Knew It podcast, I'm going to talk about literally everything on here, so I might as well talk about this topic, which is wedding planning. And I have a lot to say about wedding planning, but this is going to be like a series leading up to the wedding, and I'm also going to do a little series on YouTube as well, so keep your eyes out for that, you guys. But today's episode is called The Truths About Wedding Planning, episode 1 of the wedding planning series. So this is like my truths and what I've found throughout wedding planning. I hope you guys enjoy it, but let's get into my intro, I guess, to every single podcast, and that is okay, so my weekly intention for this week, it's currently Monday, so I have work later, but I like recording these on Monday because I can like listen back to them when they've been posted. I'm like, oh, did I actually do these things? Oh, let's see. My weekly intention, I think it's been this for like the past few weeks in my journal, but it's been to use my time wisely. The semester started last week, and I can honestly say I'm really proud of myself for staying on task and doing all the things that I need to do, because it's been very hard and very difficult for me the past year. Being a year in remission, it's not easy, it's not easier, and it's honestly been taking a toll on my mental health, and I'm trying to grab my mental health and take hold of it and improve it as much as I can while being a full-time student. And then my high from this past week, it's probably that I'm just proud of myself for waking up so early. I've been waking up around like 6:30 today. I did not wake up at 6:30. I got to bed way too late. But yeah, I've been waking up at like 6:30, getting my workout in, getting my walk in, and then having breakfast, having a quiet time, journaling and all that, and then getting right into schoolwork and then work later on in the day. But yeah, it's been great. But I do have a low for the week, is that I haven't been able to get outside. I mean, granted, it is freezing out there, but I really want to get outside. I love getting outside, and last year I was outside a lot more, but I think that's because I was a little bit more restless because chemo just ended. But I need to get back into getting outside and walking my dog. Poor girl, she's been cooped up in the house in the backyard, so gotta get back into that. And currently what I'm listening to / watching, I am always listening to the Morning Gray podcast. I'm like binging all the episodes with Alana Bloomberg, if you guys know, on Instagram. She used to be like Lonnie B Fit. And then also I am always watching Bailey Sarian on YouTube with Murder, Makeup, and Mystery Mondays. I absolutely love her. She has a podcast too. I love listening to that. And then because I found this person on YouTube when I first got engaged, it was like a wedding planning video, and then I just followed her because I thought she was so great, and I just love when people just vlog their life. I think it's so entertaining. But it's Bianca Henderson. She's currently pregnant, and she's actually due in March. So my birthday's in March, and every time I hear someone's due in March, I secretly want their babies to be born on my birthday. I just think that's so fun. But it's a really like obscure day. It's like March 7th. No one's ever born on like the 7th of something. I don't know, that's just what I think. But I've been watching her, Bianca Henderson. I love their little family, and their dog is adorable. And I keep telling my fiance later on when we get like our own place, I really want to get a golden retriever, but I don't think he wants to, so it's whatever. Okay, so speaking of fiancés, we are going to talk about the truths about wedding planning. And I could talk about this literally all day long if you wanted me to, because it's frustrating at times, but it's honestly so happy, and it's exciting for me. I honestly love wedding planning, even though my fiance would say that I'm stressed all the time about wedding planning. It's whatever. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is going over budget, like the budget that you've set, is quote-unquote normal for people. So if you ask anyone, they're gonna be like, well, you're gonna go over budget anyway, so might as well just like splurge. It's true, you will go over budget, but I think it's just, you have to mentally prepare yourself that like things are more expensive than you realize. And I could talk about this specific part so much, but like, you don't understand that most plates at a venue are going to be like $100 or more per person, and it's really rare for something to be less than 100 or just flat at 100. And I love the venue that we have because it's absolutely amazing and it's gorgeous and it's a great price for the amount of guests that we're gonna have and for the space and for the just the venue itself is just gorgeous. So I'm very excited about the venue that we have, but like I don't think going over budget is necessarily normal if you understand that things are just going to be more pricey than you realize. So you have to like factor that in. Like you think things are going to be like, oh, like 50 plates per like $50 a plate per person. It's like, no, that's not how it's going to be. It's going to be way more expensive than that. Flowers are so much more expensive than I thought. The venue is probably going to be your biggest expense unless you're doing like a photographer and a videographer and then like an extravagant band or DJ. Like there's things like you should do your research before you set a budget, basically, because you might think, oh, we're over budget, like oh my gosh, you're freaking out, but you have to give yourself wiggle room and research before you actually do a budget and before you like set that in stone. And that's probably the first thing that you should do. Okay, 2, it is reasonable to have a low budget wedding but have everything that you still wanted. So for us, we're having a lower budget wedding. It's like technically a micro wedding because we're only inviting 50 people. So we're technically calling it a COVID wedding because we have a lot of family that's in state but also out of state and even out of the country. And we can't invite everyone. Not everyone can afford to travel that far, so we completely understand. So we just kept the guest list small. Very small actually, and it's completely okay to keep a lower budget but have everything you wanted. Like for me, I thought that I was gonna have to give up like the best, like the most perfect dress for me, but I'm still able to have that because we found something that was within our budget. And I thought that I wasn't gonna be able to have the flowers that I wanted and all these, but thankfully we have amazing family members that can help. And you know, because we're having such a small wedding, people are more willing to help out because they know that the expenses aren't going to be there. And honestly, you don't have to have your family help you if you don't want to. It's not about your family, it's about you two and what you guys can put forward. And I think it's really honorable when people pay for weddings themselves. I think it's great. The only thing I do have to say is if anyone tells you, this is like a side note, if anyone tells you that it's worth it to take out a credit card and pay for things for your wedding, do not listen to them, because that is probably the worst advice ever. You do not want to go into debt over your wedding or for your wedding. Please, please, please do not do that, because then you'll just have this day hanging over your head for years and years until you can pay it off. So please don't do that. That was a little rabbit trail, but anyways. Okay, the third thing I want to say is you will hear a lot of opinions, like a lot of opinions, and they're not going to be anything like your own opinions. They're not going to be from people who even should have an opinion. It could be from like a random family member who you haven't talked to in years, or someone who just doesn't know what your vision is going to be like, and they're going to tell you their opinion. I mean, of course, listen to them, but take it with a grain of salt. You know, this is your wedding, you and your partner's wedding, and you can do what you want to do. Okay, 4. I'm going to stress this one a lot. The wedding industry is absolutely terrible, like awful. They're really just after your money, and you have to find places that are really willing to work with you, and they're excited about your vision, they're excited about your wedding, they're personable. Even like your vendors, like find a florist and a DJ who are like, be like your friends. Like they could just fit right in with you and your whole family, and they're not just after like the check at the end of the day, you know. And it's very frustrating that there aren't places more affordable that can do like everything for you, like very inclusive places. That is very, very rare to find. And it's honestly very rare to find affordable places in Jersey. If you guys didn't know, I live in Jersey, and it's just very difficult. I went to a wedding in this past summer. Was it this past summer? Oh my gosh, it was this past summer. Wow. I was a bridesmaid in one of my really good friends' wedding, who she's actually going to be one of my bridesmaids, and their venue was like all inclusive. I don't really know the price. I know it was probably pricier because everything was included, the DJ, the food, the drink. I don't think her photographer was included. I think she found that elsewhere, but like yeah, the budget, or not the budget, the wedding industry is terrible, and they're after your money and just the dollar at the end of the day. And it's really hard to find people who just want to be there because they want to fulfill your dreams and not just fill their bank account. If I'm being honest. But luckily we have found so many amazing people to help with our, like, our vendors, our DJs are amazing, our photographer is amazing. Found her on Instagram. Megan, you're the best. I can't wait to meet you in person. But yeah, I'm really excited. And then when everything is said and done, I would love to share all the vendors that we've used. Even a couple florists that I've met with are absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited to work with them. Okay, and then number 5. I can't read. Oh my gosh, I have my notebook out in front of me. Family members will be disappointed. That is just like a guarantee, and it's a very hard pill to swallow, but it's the honest truth. You're gonna have family members giving you opinions left and right. You do not have to listen to them. You do not have to do things for them. If you think that a family member is going to give you money and then expects you to listen to them and they're going to tell you what to do with that money, you don't have to accept that money. If you think that if you honestly don't feel comfortable, this is like the hardest thing I've had to deal with, is inviting all your family members. You do not have to invite all your family members because you're scared of disappointing people. Remember, at the end of the day, it's your wedding. It is your day, and if you know that someone's just gonna stress you out the whole day, or they're gonna bring drama into the situation, or they're gonna, I don't know, if you're not comfortable with them, that's it. But another thing that I had to learn is when you're making a guest list, there's 3 things you have to remember and consider is 1, have they talked to you in the last 6 months to a year? 2, have they reached out to you for anything other than a birthday, a wedding, or a funeral, or an anniversary? Or will they in the next year? Or will they reach out to you for any other reason other than that? And then the last one, the 3rd thing is, have they been an influence into your relationship with your partner? Not just you, but your relationship with your partner, and been an influence in you as a person to that person, your partner. And that honestly really helped me figure out who to invite and who not to invite, and who I could invite to other things like the bridal shower and the wedding shower and all those things. Because you have to remember in the back of your head, like sticking to a budget. So I mean, everything just like coincides, like the guest list and the budget and who to put on that guest list, and if you want to go over budget for one person. So it's very logistical and it's hard, but it's very doable when you stick to those 3 things and talk it out with your partner, and don't make decisions on your own because you want their input too. Okay, the last thing is that the only thing that matters at the end of the day is that you are marrying the love of your life, and you're going to spend the rest of your life with them. So wedding planning gets stressful at times, and family members can stress you out at times because of the wedding planning, but you have to remember that it's not about them, and the whole point you're getting all these things together for a wedding is to spend the rest of your life with your fiance, and that they become your husband and your wife. And that's the most important thing at the end of the day, is that you love them and you care for them, and that you're gonna walk down the aisle, or they're gonna walk down the aisle and see your face and say I do and sign those marriage papers, and you're gonna be together forever. And that's the last thing that, or that's the first thing that should be on your mind when you start planning your wedding. And that's another thing. I know that as a bride, I feel like, oh, this is like my wedding day, but it's our wedding day, me and my fiance. So you should remember that too, because I know there's a bride out there that needed to hear that. Okay? Okay. That is all that I have, you guys. It was a very quick episode today. I didn't want to bore you guys coming back after a month and a half of not being on the podcast and a year and a half of not being on YouTube. So I am going to actually upload this episode on Thursday, and the YouTube version will be out on Friday. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening to the Life As You Thought You Knew It podcast, and thank you for watching my YouTube channel, episode 9. But again, I am going to be doing more episodes, more wedding series episodes. I'm going to do like budget saving tips. I'm going to do how to find a good venue, how to know a good venue, how to find a good photographer, my little tips and tricks on that, an affordable photographer. And there's going to be more episodes scattered along the way leading up to the wedding. And yes, I will tell you guys after the wedding's over where we got married and who we used and all that, because I don't want to do it now because people are kind of creepy, so I don't want to put myself in harm's way and risk something like that. So yeah, again, thank you guys so much for listening to the Life As You Thought You Knew It podcast. I'm your host, Rachel, and go make it a great day, you guys.